Dad, Kevin is being awful to me, can you help?
Julie, seeking to appeal to her father who adores her, uses a coquettish voice. Being relied upon by his beloved daughter, my father-in-law became furious.
It's because of you that poor Julie is distressed about not being able to have kids. How could you do something so terrible?
At the unexpected outburst from my father-in-law, I was at a loss for words. After all, it was Julie who had been saying we didn't need children. I wanted to confront her about why she lied, but I was just too tired. I had promised to discuss it again when I returned from my business trip. But what was waiting for me when I returned was already filled out divorce papers.
I don't care anymore. You said to file it, so here you go.
This was the right choice. Given the chance, I decided to take on the things I've always wanted to try.
What do you mean by this? Selling the house, really?
Julie and her father came storming to my new place.
Do you seriously lack any compassion? Just because we have a joint mortgage, you think you can do whatever you want?
It seems Julie still hasn't told her father the truth. About the kids, the house, everything. I decided to tell her father the truth about it all. My name is Kevin. I work for a company that designs and sells promotional products targeted at businesses. After breaking up with a partner I thought I'd marry in my 20s. I couldn't bring myself to consider marriage again, planning to dedicate my life to work instead. Then, on my 41st birthday, I experienced what felt like a fateful encounter. An old friend from college, Mary, said she wanted to introduce me to a high school classmate of hers.
Her name is Julie.
She lost her mom early on, and was pretty spoiled by her dad because of it. She can be a bit selfish, but she's really a hard worker at heart, and a dear friend of mine. I think you two would hit it off, Mary told me. Julie, who I was introduced to later, was just as Mary had described. I could see her selfish side, but when the conversation turned to work, she passionately explained how fulfilling her job was. She clearly loved her work, and was very dedicated.
Sorry, I ended up talking all about myself, she apologized.
Don't worry about it.
It was interesting to hear about an industry I'm not familiar with, plus, your passion for your work really came through, I said. It didn't take long for me to fall for Julie, who blushed shyly. We started dating a week after we met.
Hey, haven't we been together for half a year now? Let's get married already, she suggested.
The promptness of the marriage talk caught me off guard, but we were both over 40. Given our age, I didn't dwell on it too much, and decided to get married.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get married.
And so, 6 months after meeting, we got married. But shortly after getting married, Julie began to show her true colors. On one day, there was a house party at Mary's, and we attended as a couple. The party itself was fun, but when we got home, something was off with Julie.
What's their problem? They look down on me because I don't have kids.
Julie used to hang out a lot with Mary and 2 of her other friends in high school, and they still appear to be close. They gather at someone's house every month for a house party, taking turns hosting. However, the other 3 got married early and now have kids in elementary or middle school. Moreover, Julie is the only one working full-time, which often leaves her out of the conversation.
I think Mary and the others mean no harm. Can't you just let it slide?
I was stunned by Julie's transformation but tried to calm her down.
You're my husband, and you're taking another woman's side.
It's not like that. If the house parties make you uncomfortable, maybe we should stop going.
What would be the point of that?
Julie seemed to have a deep attachment to the house parties. Despite her complaints, she always attended. Maybe things would change if we had kids. But I've known since before we got married that Julie doesn't like kids and doesn't want any. As I pondered what to do, a year of our married life went by. There's another issue troubling me. It's the frequent visits from my father-in-law.
Julie, I brought home a special limited edition cheesecake today.
at the beginning of our marriage. Since my father-in-law lost his wife early and raised Julie single-handedly, I thought it was natural for him to feel inseparable from her, and I didn't particularly question it. However, maybe because I welcomed him, he gradually started coming over more often, and now he shows up at our place every day without even contacting Julie. It's somewhat manageable on weekdays since he leaves after dinner. But on weekends, he starts like this from the morning, so our holidays don't feel like days off.
Thanks, Dad, as always.
Kevin doesn't seem to be thoughtful, so I'll buy the sweets. Let me know right away if there's something you want to eat, okay?
Exactly, Kevin doesn't understand a woman's heart. That's my dad for you.
I had intended to remain single for life. So I had bought my own home in my 30s, and that's where Julie moved in, marking the start of our married life. I think if it were an apartment, there might be ways to pretend we're not home, but with a house, it's difficult to prevent my father-in-law's invasions.
Thank you for your consideration.
Although I received a snide remark, I thought that I would take advantage and enjoy the sweets he had brought. When I expressed my gratitude, my father-in-law snorted with laughter.
What are you talking about? You can buy this without standing in line.
It's a precious cheesecake, you know, it's all for Julie. Saying so, my father-in-law passed the large whole cheesecake to Julie.
If you want some, Kevin, you can stand in line and buy it yourself. I'll just tell you how it tastes.
My father-in-law's extreme doting on his daughter is over the top. Thinking this might continue for a lifetime gives me a headache. And so, on the day of our usual home party, I finally couldn't take it anymore. As soon as we got home, I made Julie sit on the sofa.
Enough is enough. I get that you're frustrated because you can't connect with friends from high school anymore.
But that's no reason to speak ill of their kids. The cause was something Julie said about Mary's son.
Well, just by looking at him, you can tell he's not cut out for academics.
Julie had told Mary's 4th grade son, "All you've got going for you is soccer, so do your best to keep at it." Mary and I tried to smooth things over, but naturally, Mary's husband was furious, his face turning red with anger.
If you hate it so much, you don't have to go to the home parties, with my father-in-law coming over every day.
I'm already worn out, don't add to my burden.
You think of my dad as a burden? That's awful.
How would you feel if the roles were reversed? You'd hate it if my mom came here every day.
Huh? Absolutely not.
Julie made her displeasure clear.
You're making me deal with something you find absolutely unacceptable.
I'm not saying he can't come, but can you ask your dad to reduce his visits? I hoped this would make her reconsider her father's daily visits, but it wasn't that simple.
That's impossible. I miss my dad too much if I couldn't see him daily.
Way too selfish. We were at an impasse, and Julie refused to apologize for anything. Just as things were about to spiral out of control from our big fight, her father showed up again today.
Dad, Kevin is being awful. Help me.
What have you done to my daughter?
I just pointed out that it's not nice to speak ill of a friend's child.
Don't you have a heart?
My father-in-law was furious.
It's because of you that she's struggling with not being able to have children.
She's just envious of other people's kids, and said something out of jealousy. How could you be so cruel? What does that mean? To begin with, after we got married, she refused to even try for children, saying she didn't want any. It's impossible for us to have kids. Considering our ages, I hadn't been too worried, but now my father-in-law is suggesting it's my fault we can't have kids. I wanted to confront Julie about it, but I was just too tired. I checked the time and so that I could still catch a train.
I'm going to head out early for tomorrow's business trip. Let's both cool down and talk when I get back.
I wondered on the train if I had been too harsh, a thought I would come to regret. When I returned home from the trip, Julie was waiting for me at the entrance.
Welcome back, honey.
We've both been working, so she's never greeted me like this before. I thought maybe she was reflecting on her behavior, but I was wrong.
I think we should get a divorce. I've filled out the application and left it in the living room, so do me a favor and submit it.
Hold on, let's talk this through first.
I have nothing to say.
Dad's getting sushi for poor little me today, so I'm going back to my parents' house. I'll be back tomorrow night, so have your stuff packed and be out by then.
Be out. This is my house.
You want to kick me out after your words deeply hurt me? You should at least give me the house as alimony.
I can't make sense of what she's saying, but it seems talking is useless at this point.
Fine, I'll be out by tomorrow then.
About time you said that.
Bye. Bye.
Julie leaves through the entrance with a light step, passing by me. Heading to the living room to check the application for divorce, I found them already filled out on the dining table. Just like when we got married, this single piece of paper means Julie and I are no longer husband and wife. It's also anticlimactic.
Whatever. Since she said to submit it, I'll just go ahead and do it.
I headed straight to the after-hours service at the city hall and submitted the divorce papers. This was the right thing to do. Might as well take this chance to try something I've always wanted, I decided. I sent my stuff to my parents' house for now and moved into a new place a few months later. Actually, after buying my dream home, I started having farts like I should have done this, or I could have done that. I had been regretting it. My new home has everything exactly as I wanted down to the smallest details, and I'm living a comfortable life. Then one day, Julie came to visit.
What's the meaning of this? Selling the house, what?
Next to Julie stood her father, not even trying to hide his anger. Just yesterday, now that my new place was finished and I wanted to sell the house Julie and I lived in, I consulted with a real estate agent. They're going to appraise it this weekend. So, I sent a message saying I wanted her to move out soon. I figured she'd come over since there was no reply, but it was sooner than I expected.
Do you really have no heart? Just because we have a joint loan, you think you can do whatever you want?
It seems Julie still hasn't told him that the house actually belongs to me.
Father-in-law, the loan for that house has already been paid off.
It's only been a year since you bought it. There's no way it's paid off already.
Did you, by any chance, use Julie's savings to pay it all off? The conversation was heading in an unexpected direction for Julie. And from the angry expression she had when she arrived, she turned pale.
Wait, Dad, let me talk. Could you please be quiet for a bit?
Don't think you're still looking out for your dad at a time like this. You've grown up to be such a kind person.
Don't worry, I'll get that house back. Julie is quick-witted and has good sales performance, often receiving incentives for her excellence. Her excellence at work doesn't translate into her personal life. Being a bit careless in that regard, I recall Mary mentioning it, and it's funny because it's true.
The house was bought outright before we got married, without a mortgage.
I worked for what's considered a large company and had been single for a long time, so I had significant savings. Since I wanted a quiet place to live. It was located outside the city center, which also meant it wasn't that expensive, allowing me to pay in full. In other words, as soon as Julie moves out, I can sell it immediately.
If you're still not convinced, should I bring the contract documents?
My confident demeanor must have made it clear I wasn't lying. Her father looked at Julie in a panic.
Julie, what's this all about? I thought this guy was poor.
Having switched jobs just 3 years ago, and you were covering most of our living expenses. Julie, trying desperately to come up with an excuse, seemed unable to think of anything, and was trembling slightly.
So, Julie told you that, huh?
Listen, do you really think a husband who made his wife cover most of the living expenses could live in a mansion like this? I'm currently living in what can rightfully be called a mansion, located in a prime area of Tokyo. I've decided to go all out this time, intending to stay single for life.
I get it now. You had Julie cover the living expenses while you saved up your money, didn't you?
It seems her father just can't bring himself to believe that his daughter has deceived him.
I joined my current company because I was scouted.
The more contracts I secure, the higher my compensation, which made it possible for me to buy this place. The company I work for manufactures novelties for store openings and events. Originally, I was in product development at my previous job when suddenly a headhunter contacted me saying, "There's a company that wants your expertise." I was indeed involved in developing what you could call hit products. But I was surprised that news of my work had spread to other companies. The base salary at my current company is low, but the system allows for additional compensation based on the contracts I secure. Thinking it might be good to test my abilities if I'm to live my life unmarried and dedicated to work, I switched jobs. However, working here, I sometimes get scared by the amount of income I can generate.
Fortunately, the novelties I've designed have become well known in the industry for boosting foot traffic,
leading to a continuous stream of requests for me. It's impossible that I would need Julie to help with living expenses. Her father asks Julie if this is true. Seeing his daughter nod slightly, he was dumbfounded.
Julie, you better start preparing to move out of that house, huh? I'll cover the down payment since you're probably short on money.
Given this conversation, it's likely he doesn't know about Julie's financial situation.
Short on money. Julie works for such a large company and has good sales performance. That can't be true.
Her father looks at his daughter apprehensively. Unfortunately, Julie couldn't deny it and just froze.
Listen, Julie has been spending almost all her salary on beauty treatments and designer brands.
I think she hardly has any savings. Since it was a house I owned, I never asked her to contribute to living expenses, but with her spending habits, it didn't seem like she had saved much.
I just wanted to be happier than Mary and the others.
Why do they look happier than me when I work so hard? Being single and childless means I can spend all my time and money on myself, which is definitely happier. The only reason I married you, Kevin, was that you had a house and said it was okay not to have kids. So I could spend more on making myself beautiful. Finally, I understood why Julie was so obsessed with hosting home parties. She was showing off her designer brands to assert her happiness over others. At the same time, though I had suspected it, realizing I wasn't loved made me sad. Mary always said Julie was a hard worker and a dear friend. I wonder what Mary would think if she knew Julie's true feelings. Just thinking about it makes my heart ache. Mary was my benefactor. My parents were opposed to me going to college. Still, I wanted to study at college, so I chose to live in a dorm and worked part-time to pay for tuition and living expenses. I managed to get by for 2 years. But by the third year, I was physically and mentally exhausted, and I started thinking about quitting college and getting a job. That's when Mary helped me out.
Hey, you look really pale. Are you okay? Are you eating properly?
I was friends with Mary's boyfriend, so we knew each other by sight. She seemed alarmed by how pale I looked when she happened to see me on campus and approached me. Mary gave me her own lunch.
My parents run a diner. It's leftovers from yesterday, but you're welcome to have it if you want.
As I started eating, tears came to my eyes.
I've been thinking about quitting college.
After hearing what I said, it seemed she had talked to her boyfriend, and they arranged something with her parents.
My parents asked if you'd like to work and live there.
It's a generous offer, but I really couldn't.
Don't worry about it.
Look, I'm practically living with my boyfriend, and my parents seem lonely. If you don't mind, could you take my place? Grateful for Mary and her parents' kindness, I decided to work and live there. Her parents treated me like their own child. Financially, I was much better off since I no longer had to pay for dorm fees, and my meals were covered, making life a lot easier. I was able to graduate from college and even get a job at a large company, all thanks to Mary reaching out to me that day.
Mary said she thought Julie and I would make a good couple.
True to her word, I fell for Julie. I'm truly sorry things ended in divorce. Julie seemed to be crying, but it was so brief I couldn't be sure. She ran off as if fleeing, with her father hurriedly chasing after her. Soon after, Julie moved out of my house. I was expecting more of a fuss, so it was quite anticlimactic, but it turns out things got complicated after she left. Incredibly, her father had vacated his apartment to live with Julie in my house. Going back to her parents' house wasn't an option for Julie, so she had to look for a new place to live. However, Julie's spending habits had started long before we got married, and she often fell behind on rent payments. Because of this, it was difficult for her to pass rental screenings under her own name. Her father faced similar issues due to his age. They finally managed to pass the screening for a run-down apartment more than 30 minutes from the station. Without a bath, and with a shared toilet, and that's where they're living now. Mary's husband works in real estate. And despite all she said behind the scenes, Julie turned to Mary for advice, who told me everything. And when Julie's new life began to settle, she came to my place.
Mary is still kind to me. I wonder why I was so desperate to outdo Mary and the others. It feels so empty now.
I should have realized it sooner.
Julie had become quite gaunt, and now that she couldn't spend money on herself, her skin looked her age.
You might not believe me, but I really did have genuine feelings for you, Kevin.
I'm not asking to get married again, but could you consider giving me another chance? Julie seemed truly remorseful, but I'm not kind enough to just say let's start over.
If you still feel the same way a year from now, I'll consider it.
Realizing she wasn't outright rejected, Julie smiled softly, like when we first met.
So, what are you planning to do now?
When I visited Mary's family's diner for the first time in a while, Mary happened to be there. I hadn't told her about Julie's visit, so I shared how remorseful Julie seemed and that she wanted to get back together. Mary leaned in with interest.
I told you, didn't I? The only one who can take care of Julie is you, Kevin.
When you introduced her to me, you only said you thought we'd be a good match.
It's the same thing, isn't it? So, what will you do if she comes confessing her feelings next year too?
I don't know. I'll think about it when the time comes.
Even as I say that, I probably already know the answer. No matter what, I still love Julie.